Hey guys, I'm Valeria Sistrunk.
And I'm Benjamin Dixon.
And this morning we have some breaking news. Just a few hours ago, Donald Trump tweeted that he's going to be banning all transgenders from the military. He tweeted, "After consultation with my generals and military experts, please be advised that the United States government will not accept or allow transgender individuals to serve in any capacity in the U.S. military. Our military must be focused on decisive and overwhelming victory and cannot be burdened with tremendous medical costs and disruption that transgenders in the military would entail. Thank you."
First of all, I'm sorry, but Donald Trump can go to hell.
Yeah.
He's decided to focus on the most marginalized community. I think there's an estimate from the RAND Corporation that between 1,000 and 6,000 transgender Americans
are already in the military. And this actually reverses a policy initiated by former President Barack Obama just a little bit more than a year ago, I think. And, you know, at this moment, it's still unclear how he'll actually carry out the ban. But at this moment, we think it's actually going to happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, all right, so this is a political game to Donald Trump.
Right.
And this is what I've been telling people. You know, I run in circles on the progressive left, and I've heard a lot of people say that there may be some different, Donald Trump may not be as bad as XYZ. This is a clear example of why Donald Trump was always going to be worse than I don't care who.
Right.
He was always going to be worse because he's willing to attack the most marginalized community for political gain. There is nothing true about what he tweeted.
No.
The financial cost based on the RAND Corporation represents like 0.1% of the overall health care costs. The RAND Corporation actually recommended that we move towards an inclusive military because the cost of health care for the transgender community was not significantly greater. And yet the president is tweeting out alternative facts, but he's tweeting it out simply to help an unpopular president with his base, his evangelical base.
And like you said, it's politics.
Right.
It's not that he actually cares about transgenders,
At all.
he's actually affecting, the families that are going to lose their jobs, the people that are actually going to have to go back into the closet or be closeted, because of this.
Because of the president.
Because of the president.
The president targeted and hurt the most I mean, really, if you think about what it takes to join the military in the first place, the amount of nerve and confidence that it takes, and then add on top of that, the fact that you have people who all their life they have been attacked because of their identity, and now they have the courage to join the military for whatever reason they want to join. I wouldn't recommend anyone joining the military, especially not with Donald Trump at the helm, but this is their choice, and he decides to use them as a political football. Here's a statement from a quote from a Trump administration official. They say that this policy forces Democrats in Rust Belt states like Ohio, Michigan, and Wisconsin to take complete ownership of this issue. How will the blue-collar voters in these states respond when senators up for re-election in 2018, like Debbie Stabenow, are forced to make their opposition to this a key plank in their campaigns? In other words, the Trump administration is admitting that the reason that they're doing this is to put politicians in Rust Belt states in a compromised or uncomfortable position to have to defend the transgender community against voters that they assume are anti-LGBTQ, particularly anti-transgender.
To get the votes.
It's to get the votes.
To get the seats.
It's to get the seats. And but this shows you how insidious do you have to be to use people who are already one of the most vulnerable communities, use them for your low approval rating.
Own personal gain, really. And a funny thing is, back in February, Donald Trump's current communications director, Anthony Scaramucci, tweeted, "President Trump is the most pro-LGBTQ rights president in history." Why is that story not written in mainstream media? Probably because it's not true.
It's not true.
Clearly, it's not true.
So what happened? Donald Trump, in his nomination speech at the RNC, he talked about LGBT rights, but he talked about it in terms of protecting them. And everybody said, oh, he mentioned LGBTQ rights and protecting LGBTQ Americans, but he said specifically, he said it in context of protecting them from Islamic extremists. So he's more than happy to protect the LGBTQ community from Muslim extremism abroad, but he's going to be the purveyor of Muslim of extremism against them domestically.
Right.
So Donald Trump is by far not a pro-LGBTQ president, even though his daughter is tweeting out that she supports and appreciates his support for the LGBTQ community. Like, where, houseway?
Obvious that he doesn't really support them when during Pride Month. They didn't say anything. The White House was so quiet. They were silent the whole time.
And this is to support his. This is to rile up and you know, what's the word I'm looking for? But to motivate. Keep it simple. He wants to motivate his base, his evangelical base, who gets off on this. They want more than anything else for a president to oppose two things, because to them, the only thing that matters in religion to the evangelical white evangelical voters, the only thing that matters is, and so long as the president opposes LGBTQ rights, and so long as they oppose abortion, then they must be the second coming of Christ. When in fact he's like the devil incarnate. But anyway, one more tweet. This is from Kyle Griffin on Twitter. He pointed out that in 1948, on this exact day, Harry Truman orders end of bias in forces and federal jobs, essentially desegregating the military. So on the exact day, I believe 71 years ago, Harry Truman was desegregating the military, and now here Donald Trump is taking us back further than 1948.
Throwing it right in the trash in, what, 3 tweets?
So the ACLU jumped in on the conversation, and they let it be known that thousands of trans service members on the front lines deserve better from their commander-in-chief, which is probably a prelude to a series of lawsuits to make sure that this is addressed. And
because we still don't know if it'll ever even be carried out. Remember, Donald Trump likes to tweet a lot of stuff that never really happened or isn't going to happen.
Right. But in this case, I'm afraid that he may have the ability to do so because he can use an executive order to implement this. So, you know, let's see how long it takes him to do this. Is he just wagging the dog here? And this is something we were discussing offline, is that I think, you know, Donald Trump can't start a war right now. The best thing for Donald Trump politically would be to start a war, because all of our mainstream media, you know, MSNBC included, Fox News, they love a good war. And they will cover a good war, but he's not in a position to start one right now. And so instead of wagging the dog internationally, he's wagging the dog domestically by attacking and waging a war on the LGBTQ community, particularly the transgender community. That's all I got on it. I mean,
that's all we have, guys.
That's all I can say without cursing out the commander.
I was going to say, I mean, personally, you know, I'm very passionate about this topic. So as soon as I came in and saw the tweets, it blew me away, but I wasn't really shocked, because Donald Trump has shown how just crazy he is.
How petty, how childish, how vindictive, and how so easily he will use the most marginalized communities just to bolster his polls.
And it started with the travel ban. And now we're here with this banning of transgender.
And let me say this. This is a specific message being transmitted to a specific community. Anyone at this point who directly, indirectly, tacitly, or through omission supports Donald Trump, as much as Donald Trump can go to hell, you can go to hell too. Probably not. Well, anyway, I said it's done.
It's said.
It's done. It's out there.
Thanks so much, guys. That's all the time we have on this video. I'm Valeria Sistrunk.
I'm Benjamin Dixon.
Check out content.news for more videos like this.